Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Office Hours with the Professor. As always, I'm your host, William the Professor Collis, and I am super excited to be back from vacation. I love doing this podcast. I love covering the news with all of you. And there was only one news story I could choose now that I'm back in office. And of course, that news story is FaZe Clan going public. So in case you've been living under a rock, here are the details really quickly. FaZe Clan went public via SPAC for about $725 million. Their offering was originally supposed to be closer to $1 billion. It got sort of tamped down a little bit. The shares didn't do so well on the first day of trading. I think they were down about 25%. They've recovered. Stock's doing better since then. Fine. Those are the details. That's what you need to know. Now, let's come back from vacation with a bang with the professor's take. And the professor's take is this. I think this is a watershed moment for esports. I think we're going to talk about the industry pre and post FaZe Clan IPO. And the reason for it is this. We now have a tangible, proven public market valuation for what a pro team is worth in esports, a top pro team, north of $500 million. And that's a really significant amount of money. And that's a really important amount of money too, because this puts top esports teams in the same range as, say, an NHL franchise. And in case you don't know what I'm referring to, the Seattle Krakens were recently purchased for, I think, $650 million. So this puts a top esports team right alongside a top hockey team, with the trend obviously being enormous growth in the valuation of esports teams because, these things were worth nothing 10 years ago and they're worth, $725 million today. So I think this is so important because we've seen large valuations for teams in the past. You can look at the Forbes, most valuable esports team list that comes out every year, which, by the way, FaZe Clan wasn't even at the top of. I think the last time I saw the list, they were like number 4 or something. We've seen these high valuations for teams, but we didn't have a real tangible exit benchmark to point to for the large organizations, and now we do. And as I said in alluding to that Forbes team list, there are lots of other teams that are a sort of similar valuation range to FaZe Clan, which means there's potentially lots of other teams that if they went public would get this valuation in market. This is a big deal. It lets companies point to investors and say, see, there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. We're pretty close to having esports' first team unicorn. And by the way, this happened in a choppy market where maybe the valuations weren't the best anyway. Again, I think this is really going to spur a new wave of investment in esports. It's a new confidence point to get people excited for the next wave of growth in the industry. And because of this, I give this news story an A+++++ with 100% extra credit. I think it is a huge gold star for sort of how the industry is going to go forward. I think it's going to catalyze additional growth. I also think it's exciting for FaZe Clan. I think they'll be able to do a lot with the capital. That's the professor's take on the FaZe Clan IPO. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you will tune in next week as we continue to cover more exciting stories like this, but it's good to be back from vacation with a real heavy hitter. Thanks for tuning in. Office Hours will continue next week.